Let's be honest. For whatever reason, women really struggle with beating themselves up. And as a coach, it breaks my heart. But I also want to be transparent in saying that I am not immune to the mental and emotional soundtracks that so many of us manage. I am one of those women that also struggles with beating myself up or feeling less than or feeling like I'm not enough. And I want to talk about this and unpack it a little bit more today because I see this often in the clients that I work with and other women that I speak to, especially when we're in the midlife health journey and so much has changed. And I want to normalize really speaking through this experience and talking about how much mental and emotional well-being affects how we feel from the inside out on our health. So why does self-criticism sneak in so fast? Why is it so easy for us to tear ourselves down? I believe it's for a lot of different reasons, but one of the biggest is just what we've been shown or shared with for decades, especially in the health and wellness space. And I've shared this a lot on the podcast. We cannot discount how much we have been shown and marketed over and over and over related to what's healthy as women, what ideals we should be striving for, what expectations we've put on ourselves because of what is shared around our society. It's so easy to get into this trap of feeling like, how am I ever going to be able to do all the things or measure up to all the things and essentially start to self-criticize when we can't meet those marks? When in reality, it's not necessarily possible. It's not necessarily something we should even be focused on or striving for, but whatever reason we do. And that's when we get into these traps of self-criticism, whether it's about our bodies, our parenting styles, how productive we are, what we should be doing or how we should be doing more or accomplishing more or whatever it is that we've told ourselves. It's a cycle that can really start to wear us down quickly. And so I want to talk about things we can do to interrupt the cycle when you're in a place where you're feeling less than, you're feeling like you're not enough, you're starting to beat yourself up for some specific reason. How do we stop the thought process? How do we stop the spiral? That is something that we have to figure out how to do as often and as consistently as possible, because again, it does make a huge difference when it comes to our inside out health and wellness journey. So the first thing is pausing and naming it. So when you feel yourself being hard, saying hard things, saying mean things, being cruel, being critical, stopping and pausing and saying to yourself or writing down, I'm being hard on myself right now. Why am I doing that? I'm being hard on myself right now because of what? An expectation I have that's not realistic, a past story I've told myself, or something, right? Why are you being hard on yourself? Actually pausing, naming it, recognizing it, and then unpacking why. Why are you doing that or saying those things to yourself? The second thing is asking if you would ever say what you're saying to a friend. That is a huge one. And when we really unpack that, so much of what we likely say to ourselves in our heads that are made up stories or are cruel in some way or unkind would be things we would never say to someone that we love or someone that we care about or a friend that we want to see the best for. We often say things that really aren't true or kind in some way, shape, or form in our own brains. It's this voice that crops up. And so we have to learn how to flip the script and offer the same kind of kindness and grace to ourselves. It matters. And so that's the second piece when it comes to stopping the spiral. The last is coming back to your truth. You know, we have hundreds and thousands of thoughts every day. I don't remember the exact statistic, but we have over like 30,000 thoughts a day or more. And the thing that we have to understand about our thoughts in our brain is everything that we think isn't real. And the voices that we hear and the stories that are made up are not always real. And so part of this process of stopping the spiral is coming back to understanding what is the truth and reminding you and your own brain who you are and what you're doing and how you're not behind. You're not broken. You're not capable, that you're human, that you're growing, evolving, learning, and building yourself into the person that you're meant to be. That is an imperfect journey that we have to practice a lot of grace for, and understanding how imperfect it truly is. It doesn't have to be an avenue that we choose to use as a reason to beat ourselves up or tear ourselves down and make us feel like for whatever reason we're less than. Instead, it has to come back to this place of reminding ourselves of what's true about who we are. One of the things that I do when I get into these places of really feeling less than or being down on myself or questioning who I am or what I'm doing is I try to really make sure I'm nurturing my nervous system. I get back into my body in the best way that I know how. A lot of that is breath work and getting outside for walks. Those are my two big things that I lean on most. Some people enjoy journaling. Some people enjoy music. Some people enjoy doing like full body scans and going through body scan work. Sometimes it's just lying on your floor with your hands over your heart, doing some yoga poses, things like that. How do you get back grounded into your parasympathetic nervous system, calming your body down and getting into the present of really knowing where you're at in that moment? That is a huge component to getting out of your head and into your body. And it's one of the key factors for really moving beyond those feelings and those stories that we tell ourselves sometimes when it comes to reasons why we believe we're less than, which is not the truth. You know, one of the things that I've seen in my work as a health coach, but what I've also experienced in my own health journey is a lot of feelings around body image and body change and my health evolving over time and not feeling like I once did or not feeling like I am who I used to be and beating myself up for reasons around that concept. And what I've learned along the way related to health is how much our bodies are meant to evolve. That's a part of our human experience. That's a part of what we should be doing. It's not something we need to dive deep into and make ourselves feel bad about if for whatever reason we don't look the same or we don't feel the same. In the same breath, I do really believe in the power of diving deep into personalized health coaching and personalized health plans to figure out why you might be feeling a certain way or why you might be experiencing a certain symptom. But at the same time, I want to always be a voice that says in that process, we have to be practicing compassion. We have to be giving ourselves the same love and care that we always and freely give to so many things around us. As women, we don't do that enough. And literally, we cannot be reminded of this enough because it makes a huge difference in our lives. Beating ourselves up is not what makes us stronger. Beating ourselves up through change is not the answer to really serving our longevity. Instead, we have to be loving and caring for who we are as our health evolves over time. So again, whether that's how your body feels, how your health is, your parenting style, your productivity, whatever it is that you maybe sometimes get into your head about, I want you to stop the next time and really start to work through these steps we talked about today. Pausing and naming it, saying that you're being hard on yourself and digging into more of the why, then asking if you would ever say the things you're saying to you to someone that you love, and then getting back into your truth, pausing the stories that have been made up and instead talk about who you are and what value you add and all the things that you are doing in your day to day. It breaks my heart as a coach to see women struggle on the mental and emotional side to wellness. But I'm here to tell you, until you get your brain right, until you start to work on the mental and emotional soundtracks, until you really get into understanding how to regulate your nervous system, until you get into your body and really in tune with what your body needs, feeling like you're going to be able to make progress in other aspects of health is going to feel extremely challenging, if not impossible. And so I always come back as much as possible to talking about mental and emotional well-being, taking care of our nervous system, and paying attention to soundtracks, because where we are focusing, what our thoughts are saying, where our energy is going is where we are ultimately going as a whole being. Our mindset and our mental and emotional soundtracks and our energy are driving our forward trajectory. So if we're constantly in our heads talking about why we are less than, or talking about why we aren't capable or worthy or whatever it is, that is never going to be the mindset that gets us to the place of really, truly feeling holistically healthy from the inside out. So I want you to really dig into this and remember this today. And I want you to know, if you are someone who has struggled on this side of the health puzzle, you are not alone. This has very much been a part of my story. And as a coach, this is something I work through in very deep levels with my clients. It is one of the most important pieces to our wellness, making sure that we're always working through the soundtrack components and talking about how they affect our longevity health from the inside out. Never forget how much you matter and how beautiful you are. Never forget that the things we tell ourselves are not always true. And there are so many stories that we often make up about ourselves that make us feel less than, or make us feel like we're not capable, or make us feel like we're not enough, when in reality, that's not true. And I want you to do the best you can as often as possible to go through these practices and make sure you're staying grounded in your truth as much as possible. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I know balancing time and energy can be a challenge, and I'm so proud of you for listening in and investing in your wellness journey. I feel incredibly grateful to connect with you and for the opportunity to share more knowledge, stories, and encouragement related to all things wellness. I would love to hear how this podcast has served you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review on either iTunes or Spotify. Your support truly means the world to me and helps me reach more women just like you and me who are looking to transform their health from the inside out. Plus, when you share this episode with a friend, we invite more women in to learn alongside us. What a gift. Remember, knowledge is power, and the more we know, the better we can do. For ourselves, for our families, and our future. Well done on taking the step towards a healthier, happier you. Until next week, stay empowered and stay well.